What's up, everybody? Jonathan here with the final course we're looking at for the Kansas City Wide Open presented by Discraft. We've seen Bad Rock Creek for the AMs, we've seen Waterworks is going to be played by both, and now it's time to take a look at our feature course that's sponsored by Discraft, and we're very thankful to have them on for this entire event. And also want to give a big thank you to members of the Kansas City Flying Disc Club and all the volunteers that came out to do work on these courses to get them looking better than I have ever seen them in the years that I've lived in Kansas City. So hats off to all of you guys. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this course. Alright, hole 1. Not the easiest starting hole in the world. We've got a 555-foot par 3. And the best play on this, really, if you got it, is to go big stall anhyzer shot over the top of these trees. The drone's going to fly you underneath, and this is another option, but this really turns it into a par 4. There's no way to get a 2 if you're going this route. You can throw a roller on this hole. The grass is tended to be pretty thick, so it's hard to get it all the way up there, but as you can see, the shape for the flex shot, if you've got the arm for it, is really the way to go to get the 2 on this one. Alright, hole number 2, getting right into the first par 4 of this layout, but only coming in at 380 feet. But you see why it's a par 4, because it is a true 2-shot hole. Your first shot, you really want to find a landing spot right about up here, maybe even a little further forward depending on your preference, so that way you can hit this gap, make it all the way through, and then up to the basket on the other side of the opening here. And I will forever call this now the Bill Shinosky gap, as if not mistaken, I heard he spent a solid 3 hours clearing this out so that it would be ready for this event. So thank you, Bill, for that. There, finally, we get to see the basket. And as you can see, it could be a bit of a tricky shot. So, it's a good 3 to get. Hole 3 is going to give you a little bit of a breather. It's just a straight shot, 248 feet, slightly uphill. Of course, the road is going to be out of bounds, and really you just want to lay it right on top of this plateau by the basket. The thing that makes this hole the most tricky is the wind, which will blow it into that cedar on the left there. But this should be a good 2 to get. Alright, hole 5. Just walk across the street and come back the direction you came from. It's hole another par 3, 296 feet. Plays along this ridge here. Really the only danger is going along, hitting the road out of bounds. If you do go a little long, it's going to leave you a little uphill tricky putt, but once again, this is a must-get par 3 for the pros. Alright, then after the 2 easy holes, we gotta get right back into it with a 435-foot par 3 with hole number 5, with a very low ceiling to navigate. So this low ceiling and then uphill ridge off the tee is not the only danger, as you are actually wanting to go into the trees on the right hand side late. Really throwing a hyzer along this side then winding up in the middle of the gap, or taking something that turns really late and crashing it, is going to be the best way to get the 2 on this hole. So it is a tricky one back in there. Alright, hole number 6, par 3 coming to 10 at 286 feet. This one is just an easy uphill hyzer, but check your caddy books, because while you don't see anything on the footage here, the map shows this roped off as an island hole. Missing that island, you're going to go to a drop zone. So if I'm mistaken, like I said, make sure always reference your caddy books. I am not the end-all be-all for this course. But an island shot on this makes sense to make it a little bit trickier. Hole number 7, 462-foot par 3. You're going to have a Mando to the left of the tree on the right to force you to go through this gap instead of take the hyzer, and that's to protect you from going into the fairway that's adjacent to the right-hand side. And once you do make it through this gap, it is just a super low, super straight shot all the way back to that hill that you see right before where the road is. Oh yeah, and there's going to be a rope that runs the entire right-hand side of this fairway, which you need to avoid going OB over. So this is definitely going to be a bonus birdie. And I really think hole number 7 was maybe just a warm-up for hole number 8 here, because hole number 8 is going to send you down this tight fairway. You've got the road on the left, danger trees on the left, and you've got a rope lining the entire right-hand side. And all to boot, this is a 669-foot par 4, albeit it is downhill, but it is not going to be easy to make it all the way to the basket. Now, throwing hyzers out to the right around these trees is probably going to be the safest way to go, but even then, you catch a limb, you drop, you're going to be out of bounds, and you don't want to take any more strokes than you have to on a hole that's already this dangerous and has this length to it. Now, hole number 9, 410-foot par 3, and one of these trees, I believe it's the third one down on the right-hand side, is going to have a Mando forcing you to throw to the left of him, take the hyzer out of play. So this is really going to be a good power sidearm hole if you've got it. Everything wide open to that left field is safe, so if you feel like just chalking up this one to a 3, go for it. I kind of like to push myself to try and get a 2 on it, because you have all this backstop here, but if the trees don't catch you and you roll back down the hill, you are going to be in some trouble. Alright, hole 10 is going to continue the theme of low ceiling, Mandos forcing you to the left, with the road also being on the left, and going quite a bit uphill with this shot. And at 565 feet, this is not a short hole by any means, so you're going to want to keep it basically as straight as you can for 2 solid shots to get all the way up to the basket here. And then once you do that, you'll be able to put in for your 3. This is a very birdieable hole, but also you could probably take some big numbers on it if you're not careful. Alright, now we get to hole number 11, the par 5 of the course. At 789 feet, you're going to have a fairway that is roped on both sides, as you can probably see here in the flight. And this is kind of the route that you want to take. You want to have your landing zones about here, maybe lay up to the edge of just past where this tree is. And while the basket is not roped in the circles right now, for the tournament, it is going to only be a safe landing zone around the basket and extending to the road. So you'll see what I'm talking about when you get there. But a very gettable 4 birdie. All right, hole number 12. Par 4, 590 feet. Used to this one playing just in front of the pond, but guess what? There's a Mando tree right here that the drone is going to fly to the left of. So you're going to have to hit this gap here to stay safe, otherwise there's a drop zone right next to it. And then on top of that, once you make this landing zone, you need to throw it over the pond and land as close as you can to the basket, because there is a little bit of a drop off here that can cause a roll away. Very tough to park that one. Well, you get a little bit of relief coming back hole 13. It's quite a bit uphill, but there's not a lot of danger, and it's 330 feet, so for those with bigger arms, this is going to be, one of those holes. So just, take a little bit of relief on this one. Alright, and if you miss those ropes, they're coming back on hole 14. So the whole right-hand side of the fairway is going to be roped off, forcing you kind of to go to the left, which I think is the better play anyways. This one will actually set up very well for a roller. It's got a nice shape for it, and it's a little bit downhill. The wind usually pushes out of the north a little bit, so it'll hold the discs up if you throw something a little bit more stable. Or like hole 1, you can go with that big anhyzer. And at 407 feet, a lot of the bigger arms are going to be able to get to this one. Just watch out for that road right behind the basket as well. And then we get to hole 15, another par 4, this one coming at 618 feet. And the rope is back all along the right-hand side of the fairway. And then once you get up about halfway, and I'll show you where I believe, there is a double Mando that you need to go between. That is going to be that big tree on the left, kind of where you see me standing. and the tree on the right hand side here, which is actually part of that gap. Now, the rope, once you get past the end of the tree, will start on the left hand side as well. So you'll need to stay inbounds this entire fairway. I think it's a very gettable tree, but it is going to be a tough one with just plenty of danger. So watch out for big scores on this one. Hole 16 coming down the stretch. This is one that's going to be birdie quite often. Even at 381 feet, if you've got the distance and you can keep it straight for just about that long, you should be able to have at least a shot at this one. The ceiling is kind of low, but it's not that bad. And while it's a little bit difficult sometimes to keep it in the middle of this tree tunnel, it's wide enough to where most of the skilled players should be able to make it through. Traditional hole one, of course, 401 feet, kind of a gradual curve to the right hand side. This one actually plays really well for the roller too. There's not a lot of danger of coming out early and going on the road because there's a ditch there to protect you. So good play once again because of the low ceiling and this one. Alright, coming in hole 18, what I think is going to be a great finishing hole. For 665 feet. If there's any sort of top of this one, you're going to see some players get aggressive. And you can see something amazing or something very tragic happen on a finishing like that. There is a mandate maybe on one of these trees on the left here to force you to take the gap down the middle. And that brings the road to the right in play as well. So there's the Mando tree right there. And from here, you can have a pretty difficult upshot because that OB parking lot and road is going to be right behind the basket, so getting something to stick right there for the birdie 3 by the basket is going to be no easy feat. Alright, there you have it. That is the third and final course that is going to be used for the 37th Kansas City Wide Open presented by Discraft. I want to say a special thank you to the tournament directors for this event. So Chris Timko has done a ton of work, as well as Michael Kruger and Jerry Patterson. So if you see those guys out there, make sure to say thank you, give them a high five, give them a handshake, buy them a beer at the players party at BKS Artisan Ales down in Brookside on Thursday from 4 to 9, where you can also check in for the event. There's also going to be a Fly Mart / players party on Friday at Martin City Brewing. And just a couple more thank yous. Wanted to thank our sponsors. So Discraft has been great to work with, as well as Dynamic Disc and Latitude 64 for sponsoring the other courses that are not Wyco, so Bat Rock and Waterworks. And also, a huge shout out to all the volunteers that came out and helped to make these courses look the way they do, and also all the work you put in just on the event, logistics, and things of that nature. So also thank you to the KCWO for sponsoring this event as well. Can't leave out our club. So hope to see everyone out there on the courses this weekend. Good luck and thanks for watching.